Salam, Shaheen. I'm going to read you a book called King of the Birds. You might be familiar with this bird. Who's reading it to you as we speak? Come and make your offering to the smallest, yet the king. From an old Welsh song about wrens. Long ago, when the oceans were only half filled with water and just a few stars lit the sky, the birds quarreled loudly among themselves. From sunrise to sunset, the air rang with their squawks and squabbles. چه بحثی میکنن اینا با هم دیگه. Birds snatched one another's nests and mixed up the eggs. Some battled over roosts, while others fought tug-of-war over worms. Their scraps raised such whirlwinds of dust and feathers that Chickadee was knocked upside down and Wren was tumbled from her perch. Beautiful bird. Oh, what a waste of eggs. Stop this rumpus, scolded old Mother Owl. She hadn't had a good day's sleep since she'd hatched. Can't, crawled Crow. Cawed Crow. Someone must put an end to this quarreling, old Mother Owl continued. Someone must decide where each bird belongs. We need a king. A king? Cried Gull. Pass it on. Blue Jay thought Gull had called sing and began to whistle. Woodpecker thought he'd said wing and flew away. Parrot started to swing on a willow limb trapeze. Most of the birds paid no attention, for Gull was known to gossip. But Wren cocked his head and wondered who might earn such an honor. A king, old Mother Owl repeated. A ruler all will obey. That would be nice if all would obey. Oh, somebody's peacocking. Then I shall be king, said Skylark. Everyone listens to my sweet voice. He trilled his clear notes over and over. Wee-oodle, wee-oodle, chirruped Wren to himself. When Skylark had finished, Mockingbird yawned. How dull! My songs are never the same. He mimicked Skylark's melody. Borrowed a bar from Blackbird's tune and whistled a measure from Nightingale's too. Show off, scoffed Peacock. I am the one who I am the one with something worth showing. He strutted before them, fanning his blue and green plumes. Wren ruffled his own white feathers. Heads are better than tails, Raven jeered. Since I am so clever, I should be king. Interesting conversation. Respect is what's necessary, hissed Falcon. When I swoop down, everyone trembles. Falcon shows his sharp talons. This really does look like someone I know, at least the eyes. Wren ran inside a hollow log. All the other birds cried, "Choose me, me, me!" The racket woke hares and hedgehogs deep in their burrows and frightened the fish in the sea as well. Guess they've been listening along too. Hush, hush, hooted old Mother Owl. Differences between birds don't matter. What is important is what makes us alike. She peered about, turning her head from front to back and back to front. Who knows? Now each bird waited for another to answer. Finally, Wren called through a knothole. Birds can fly. Old Mother Owl nodded. Whoever flies highest and longest shall be king. The large birds cheered. Each hoped to win the race and the throne. The small birds protested, but their timid twitters were not heard. No fair at all. Wren put his head under his wing to think. Just as the contest began, an idea popped into his mind. Get ready, old Mother Owl declared. Get set, fly. After an hour's flight, little birds tired. After 2 hours, mid-sized birds wearied. After 3 hours, even big birds struggled back to their roosts. Buzzard's feathers were frayed. Stork rested on one leg. Only ostrich and eagle remained in the match. Ostrich and eagle. Eagle soared high in the air, leaving ostrich below like a shadow. Ostrich sank to the ground and refused to fly ever again. Eagle circled alone overhead, all alone. Suddenly, Robin exclaimed, eagle lost a feather. No, no, that's not a feather, cried sharp-eyed Magpie. It's Wren. Not noticed, never missed. Wren had hidden himself among Eagle's long quills for a piggyback ride. But when Eagle folded his wings to glide down, Wren fluttered his own and flew up. He caught a tailwind and disappeared into the clouds. All afternoon, the birds watched for Wren's return. Their necks grew stiff from looking up, and a few, flamingo and crane among them, stretched so far that their necks were never the same again. All night the birds waited, although only the old owl could see in the darkness. At daybreak, a speck appeared in the sky and floated gently to earth. It was Wren. Thank you, said Wren, bobbling his head, for gathering to greet you, King. Wren shouldn't win, Eagle grumbled. He used my wings. He used his brain besides, answered Old Mother Owl. One who can do that deserves to rule. So saying, she blinked and shut her eyes. How can we tell how high Wren flew? Swan asked. Mallard quacked. We couldn't see. Look at my feathers, said Wren as he hopped before them. His white breast was sooty. His back was brown and streaked with gray. Dingy's feathers aren't royal dress, said Eagle, scornfully. They are scorched, Wren replied, from brushing against the sun. The sun? Beaks and bills snapped shut. And I looked down in the world and found out a secret, whispered Wren to the circle of birds. Our earth is an egg. An egg? Beaks and bills dropped open. The earth egg is so big, said Wren, spreading out to his wings, that every bird can sit peacefully upon it. There will be no need to shove or squeeze, he promised, if all will follow my rules. The birds stared at Wren. It was quiet enough to hear a feather fall. At last, Old Mother Owl opened one eye and murmured, Why not try? Try, 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 called Crow. One by one, large and small, the birds nodded their heads. Then, Long live the king! They chorused